OpenAI just put ads inside ChatGPT. Meta and Google are racing to build an AI that does things for you, not just talks to you. The US and China are about to sit down and talk about AI for the first time. And Anthropic just signed a deal with Elon Musk for 220,000 GPUs. So this week, AI stopped being a product launch and becoming a complete infrastructure. Hi there, I'm Rakul. If you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and let's get straight into it. OpenAI just did two things the same week. They are connected in a way that most people aren't talking about. First, they launched GPT-5.5 Instant as a new default model for every ChatGPT user. It's faster, it hallucinates about 50% less than the latest version, and it pulls your past conversations, your uploaded files, even your Gmail to personalize your answers. And the last part is important because the second thing that OpenAI did, they announced that they are testing ads inside ChatGPT. Right now, it affects only the free tier and $8 a month Go plan. If you pay for Plus or a Pro, you won't see ads. But for everyone else, sponsored products and services will start showing up at the bottom of your answers. OpenAI says conversations stay private, ads don't influence answers, and you can turn off your personalization at any time you want. But here's the thing, they just made the default model better at knowing who you are, what you have searched for in the past, what files you have uploaded, and what emails you have sent. And in the same breath, they open the doors to the advertisers. They even launched a self-serve ads manager in beta. Any business in the US can now buy the CPC ads inside ChatGPT. That means this isn't a test. It's actually a new business model. And look, this isn't necessarily evil. Google had done this with the search for over 20 years, but ChatGPT isn't just a search. People use it differently. They ask very personal questions. They trust the answers more. And when the answers come with a sponsored link underneath, the question's becoming, are you talking to an assistant or a salesperson? And speaking of AI that does more than just talk to you, this week, the Financial Times reported that Meta is building what they are calling a highly personalized AI assistant to carry out every task, not just chat, tasks. Business Insider reported that Google is working on a 24/7 personalized agent for work, school, and daily life. It's not a chat bot, but it's actually an agent. Both companies declined to comment, but according to the analyst, Craig Clare, an agentic development isn't a side project at these companies anymore. It's the theme of their entire 2026 roadmap. So let me explain what that means in practice. So right now, you use ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. You ask a question and you get an answer, and the AI talks to you, and that's it. But agents is different. So an agent takes an objective, like book me a flight to Tokyo next week under $1,200, and then it goes and actually does it. It searches, it compares, it fills out forms, clicks the buttons, you set the goal, and the AI runs the mission. OpenAI already has pieces of this with Codex, and they're shopping features. Anthropic has cloud computer use, but what Meta and Google are building is the full version. A single AI that lives inside your phone, your email, your calendar, your files, and acts on your behalf all across them, all day and every day. And here's the thing that gets genuinely interesting. Google reportedly killed an internal project called Mariner to go bigger. So they are not just iterating, they are rebuilding from scratch. So that tells you how seriously they're taking this up. The race right now is simple. Whoever builds the agent you trust first wins. Because once you had your digital life to one AI, switching becomes almost impossible. And every one of these companies knows that. Now, while the tech companies are racing against each other, two governments just decided they might need to start talking. The US and China are about to have their first formal talks about AI. The same week, the White House accused China of stealing AI model weights on an industrial scale. So according to the Wall Street Journal, the US and China are considering pulling AI on the agenda of the next week's summit between Trump and Xi Jinping in Beijing. Treasury Secretary Scott is reportedly leading the American side. If this happened, it would be the first time these two countries have sat down formally to discuss specifically about artificial intelligence. And the time is getting wild. Because 3 weeks ago, the White House have released a memo accusing that the Chinese AI companies of running what they call industrial scale model operations, basically using fake accounts and jailbreaking techniques to extract the capabilities of the American frontier models. Anthropic has actually documented 16 million unauthorized exchanges through roughly 24,000 fraudulent accounts. And the companies named after this is DeepSeek, Moonshot, and Minimax. All of these are Chinese companies. And here's the other side of this. DeepSeek, one of the companies who's actually accused of this, is about to raise its first external funding round at about $45 billion in valuation. China's state-backed semiconductor fund is reportedly involved in those tasks. So Chinese government isn't just distancing itself from DeepSeek, it's actually investing in it. There's a bill moving through Congress right now called the American AI Model Theft Act. If it passes, Commerce could blacklist companies caught doing this. So if you have one hand reaching out for a handshake and the other one hand writing sanctions, that's AI geopolitical game in 2026. And this summit next week could see the tone for how these two countries deal with AI for the next decade. And finally, the story that connects all of this, because everything we just talked about, the ads, the agents, geopolitics, none of it works without one thing, which is the compute power. Here's a sentence that I never expected to say. Elon Musk, who in February called Anthropic misanthropic and evil, just signed a deal to hand them the keys to one of the most powerful data centers on the earth. This week, Anthropic announced a partnership with SpaceX to use all the compute capacity at SpaceX data center. That's over 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs, 300 megawatts of power. All are going to Anthropic. And the reason is simple. Anthropic is growing faster than anyone predicted. Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, got on stage at their developer conference and said they have planned 10x growth this year. They got 80x. On an annualized basis, their revenue and usage grew 80-fold in Q1 2026. Their revenue run rate went from 9 billion at the end of 2025 to 30 billion in April. So let me put that into a perspective. Salesforce took 20 years to hit 30 billion and Anthropic just did it under 3. But the growth that fast creates a problem. You need the computing power and Anthropic just didn't have enough. Users, I myself have hit the rate limits of while using the Claude so many times and we are all frustrated. Peak hour throttling, performance degradation, and people were canceling subscription and moving to OpenAI's Codex. So they called SpaceX, and here's the twist. SpaceX had this capacity sitting around because Grok, Musk's own AI chatbot, never generated enough demand to use it all. The immediate result, Claude Code's 5-hour rate limit doubled for every paid plan. The peak hour throttling is gone for Pro and Max users. The API rate limits for Opus went up dramatically. But here's the part that sounds like a science fiction. Both the companies said they are exploring multiple gigawatts of orbital AI compute capacity. The data centers in space. SpaceX already filed with the FCC to launch satellites that would serve as orbital computing infrastructure. We are not there yet. That's years away, but the fact that the conversation is happening tells you something about where this industry is headed. The demand for AU compute is growing so fast that the growth might not be able to keep up. Anthropic is now valued at roughly $900 billion on secondary markets. There are talks to raise 50 billion. An IPO could happen as early as October, and they prove that in AI, compute is a king. So if you have GPUs, you win. If you don't, you make a deal with anyone who has it. And even the guy who called you evil 3 months ago. Here's the takeaway from this week. OpenAI is building an ad business on top of it. Meta and Google are building agents that will live inside your phone. The US and China are about to sit down because AI has become their geopolitical issue. And the companies building this stuff are growing so fast, they are literally running out of electricity. This is moving fast, faster than most people realize. And the decisions made right now are going to shape how this technology affects your life for the next decade. If you want to stay ahead of this, not the hype, the real stuff that is actually happening, please subscribe. I put this one every week. See you on the next one.